Meanwhile, people who defend themselves against criminals get the maximum possible sentence. The government gets to defend itself with bodyguards. Politicians have tons of bodyguards you pay for. Congress is so afraid of the people they govern, they built a wall around the Capitol this week. But you can't fight back. And we began to see this accelerate in 2020 during the BLM riots. So a BLM mob broke the gate into Mark and Patricia McCloskey's property in St. Louis. They were having dinner. All of a sudden, the mob shows up. And so in response, they did what you would do if you were awake. You grab your firearms. You don't shoot anybody. Back off. Those firearms were lawfully owned. They were on their property, as was the mob. Here's what it looked like. Remember that? They were racist. Right. A group of highly entitled children of orthodontists showed up on their property to threaten them, and they said, back off. So they're racist, said the Washington Post. And then, of course, a Soros-backed prosecutor called Kim Gardner charged them. Charged the McCloskeys with crime. Not the mob, the McCloskeys for daring to defend themselves. Their guns were seized. Now, the point of this, of course, is not to make anybody safer, just the opposite. And St. Louis has not become safer. It's become much more dangerous. Under Kim Gardner, the city has experienced its highest murder rate in decades. So public safety is not the point. The point is disarming you so you can't defend yourself against their plans for you. Now, thankfully, Mark McCloskey and his wife were pardoned these outrageous charges by the governor of the state. Thank God. Mark McCloskey is still around. He joins us now. Mark McCloskey, thank you so much for coming on. Your story was so significant because it seemed like the beginning of a trend where political prosecutors send the message that you're not allowed to defend yourself no matter how crazy and chaotic and dangerous the country becomes. Don't take up arms to defend your property, your family, your own life. And I think it's fair to say it was the beginning of a trend, no?
Well, it was. And, you know, this is not accidental, and it's not a result of inadvertence or incompetence. What's our right to defend ourselves? It's a God-given right. It's a basic human right. Well, the powers that be that want to destroy our government, want to destroy our freedoms, and want to destroy our culture, they can't tolerate the concept of there being a power greater than government. They have to do away with your God-given rights, all your rights, and leave you with nothing but government-granted privileges that can be revoked at a moment's notice. I mean, look at what's going on. We've got a vice president of the United States who encouraged the riots, said the riots are proper, they should continue, bailed people out of jail so they can riot the next day. We got a government that encourages crime and then discourages law enforcement by defunding the police and these George Soros prosecutors like I have here in St. Louis. And then what do the people do? If there's rampant crime and the police won't enforce the law and the prosecutors won't prosecute the criminals, people have to defend themselves. So then what? That same government then criminalizes self-defense and throws you in jail. Now, you know, it wasn't cheap to defend ourselves. And then to add insult to injury, our Bar Association required us to do 100 hours each of pro bono legal services. So that's 200 hours of our time. That's about $150,000 fine right there. But we can handle that. But think about that poor George Allen Kelly down in Texas. 73-year-old man with $1 million bond for doing nothing more than defending himself. The whole purpose of all this is to strip our rights away, strip away our God-given freedoms, and give absolute control to the government. Criminalize self-defense and glorify the government.
Yeah. So they start a crime wave and then demand you give up your guns. Yeah. No thanks. No thanks. Mark McCloskey, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tucker.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.